Hey everybody, this your girl Jay from DCSC Talks. If you haven't already, please like, follow, and subscribe on any social media platform. Any information is alleged and falls under the Fair Use Act, Section 107, can be used for comments, criticism, education, entertainment purposes. And I am going to go ahead and get into the story. It's a sad story, y'all. He's so adorable. Look at him. His name is Kamarion Jackson. So I want to say, what in the world is going on in South Carolina? I read this story and I was just appalled. It says Columbia, South Carolina. The story was published on December 16, 2022. Columbia, South Carolina. The Columbia Fire Department Assistant Chief George Adams defended his son, Grant Adams, who is out of jail tonight after being charged with homicide by child. Yes, the Columbia Fire Department Assistant Chief George Adams defended his son, Grant Adams, who is out of jail tonight after being charged with homicide by child. Police say he was arrested yesterday following the death of a 2-year-old on November the 25th, 2022, a child who was not his, okay? And I'm sorry, throughout this video, I may get a little bit emotional because I'm in shock. Like, how in the heck did this guy post bond after killing a 2-year-old child? The grandparents of the 2-year-old, Kamarion Jackson, pleaded with the judge to not give Adams bond Friday morning. They told the judge this was not the first time Adam abused their grandson and everything is alleged. And I know that a lot of people are saying, and the court system does need to play out, but I'm going to just keep going and then you all can make your, We've been failed. I lost my grandson that I can never get back, said Lakeisha Lewis, who is Kamarion's grandmother. So the article goes on to state, and everything is alleged. I do have to continue to say that Lakeisha Lewis is the grandmother of the 2-year-old Kamarion Johnson, who told the judge that he abused her grandson for the first time back in February. The grandparents alleged that the 2-year-old returned from Adams' home with 2 broken wrists. Yeah, that's a deep pause. The South Carolina Department of Social Services is currently investigating the first alleged incident of abuse that took place on Friday. So I could see why the grandmama is upset, because she ain't, according to the article, WIST News in South Carolina, they saying, hey, this dude broke the baby wrist back in February. When the grandmama found out, she did what she was supposed to. She went to DSS. So when you can abuse a child at the extent that my grandson was abused, you are a monster. Not only to my grandson, but to the community. And I am praying justice, not just for him, but for every child that has been hurt, harmed, or endangered by someone, says. And this is allegedly coming from Mrs. Lakeisha Lewis, who is the child's grandmother. But, y'all, I'm going to keep going, but I just get mad as I'm reading this article. How in the world you break this baby wrist? And, let's go ahead and get out there, because I know people won't come for the mama. Yes, ma'am. When that joker broke your baby wrist, it was supposed to be a done deal. Now, that's alleged, and I have no evidence on that, so I don't know if he was abusing her. But, there are domestic hotlines and ways to get help. And I think, like in any situation, it should be like a rock bottom. And when he started beating, like, how you break a 2-year-old wrist? So let me get through this, y'all, because this might be a long one. So it says, just give me a second. Okay, so on Friday, Adams stood in front of the judge for the incident that happened back in September. Investigators say Adams drove Kamarion to the hospital where he told the doctors that the child fell from the playpen. Richland County Sheriff's Department was notified by the South Carolina Department of Social Services after doctors determined that the child injuries were not consistent with the fall. And the state prosecutors claimed Kamarion suffered a fractured skull and that the fall from a 2-foot-tall playpen would not have caused that. The child grandparents said in court that Kamarion spent a month in the hospital before he died. Kamarion's mother was also in court. Her parents say she was living with Adams because the two were in a relationship and share a child together. So they have apparently a child younger than Kamarion. Kamarion was the product of her previous relationship or prior relationship. So you all know Miss J had to go out there and look and see what's out there. And the only thing that I went out on the Richland County website, and he has been charged with homicide by child, Grant Adams, homicide by child. When you look at the actions on here, you can see that he did make bond. And so he is out on bond. But, I'm bringing this story because it's just crazy to me. It was... So in February, the grandmother reported that the child had been abused. Apparently, they took him to the hospital and sought medical attention because it comes to find out that he had 2 broken wrists. So apparently, and it said in a news article that in February, dude had a case pending with DSS. Why was he even allowed to remain in a home and stay around that child or his actual blood child? So that's problem one. That's back in February. Okay, let's fast forward. I don't know what Department of Social Services did, but September, the Grant Adams takes him to a hospital trying to put on a front like the boy fell out the crib or off the playpen, when in reality he fractured the baby's skull. The baby stayed hospitalized from September to November, dies November the 25th apparently, and Mr. Adams is picked up and let go. So my question is, and I'm not, the judicial process has to run its course. I get that. But DSS, let's not forget them. And that's their job, to intervene on the behalf of a child. So South Carolina, we going to have to do better down there, y'all, because this ain't going to work. And so now you got this dude out here, Grant Adams. So what if he meet another girl that don't have no idea that he has a history, allegedly, of hurting children and hook up with this joker? And think that she, that not knowing, because you can't always judge a book by its cover. Well, a person is going to put on a good front when they meet you and they trying to woo you in. And being and killed another girl baby out here. See, that's what my problem is. It ain't the fact that the judicial process got to run its course. But what are they doing to make sure this dude don't hook up with another girl that don't know that he has a alleged history of hurting children? Yeah, that ain't right. So, keep your eyes open, ladies. Know who y'all bringing around y'all children and protect them. When it come out that somebody has harmed your children. Facts. Broken wrist. Facts. Pack your bags, sis. It might hurt. Go. That's what they got counselors for. To help you get coping skills to get over hard situations.